Your views on the markets today? We've seen improvements yesterday, improvements today, and an uptick over the last 24 hours in the banking sector.
Happy New Year to you as well. Yes, we've seen improved performance from the capital market today. The market appreciated by 1.89% today, and we generally saw increased activity, especially in the banking sector, where stocks like First Bank, Zenith Bank, GT Bank, and ETI were the toast of investors. Overall, most of the sectorial indices appreciated today by just over 1%, but the highest appreciation was in the oil and gas sector, which appreciated by 1.68% due to gains in the price of Oando.
All right, obviously your outlook for 2011, I mean, some dynamism in the equities market, and also with AMCON coming through, launching a series of bonds. We're expecting improvements in terms of banks' margins and their abilities to lend. But how does that compare with the bond markets, for instance?
Absolutely, we're expecting improved performance from the market this year with the activities of AMCON. You would recall that AMCON has given over 200 billion to Oceanic Bank and Union Bank, and about 114 billion as well to Intercontinental Bank. So generally, we are seeing increased liquidity coming into the banks, and we expect that this should begin to ease the pressure on the bank's balance sheet, and they should begin to resume lending. In terms of the way that affects the bond market, we expect as well that all this liquidity will bring some more activity into the bond market, especially even with the AMCON bond as well. So generally, on the shorter end of the curve, we might see a little more activity there that might lead to some increase in yields faster than the longer end of the curve.
All right, as I said, we've seen an improvement in the banks, an uptick certainly in the last two sessions. There's been talk of acquisitions in the brewery sector, which also did well over the festive season. And the building materials also been a sterling performer for much of 2010. In terms of asset allocations and your choices per sector, where would you be putting the money?
We are still very bullish about the banking sector. We think that the most gains for 2011 will come from the banking sector, because if you look at the depression in the price of most of the banking stocks over the last 2 years, they've been highly depressed, and we think that now the banking sector reforms are very much in high gear, and we should begin to see those dividends rolling into the banks. And based on that, we are very optimistic about the banking sector, and hence our asset allocation as well is tilted to be overweight in the banking sector. Right. But beyond the banking sector, we think that across the market, really, there are fundamentally valued stocks that are trading at very attractive prices, and we're also increasing our allocation generally for our equity biased portfolios, increasing the allocation to take advantage of the expected rally in the market. So we also think that there's a lot of value coming out of the food and beverage sector, right, with the likes of flour mills and Dangote flour, as well as even the brewery sector, like you rightly mentioned.